Where'd your name come from?
Well, my name come from partially from my partner, man. His name Santiago. You know what I'm saying? Being out there doing this stuff, Thizzle, whatever. You know what I'm saying? And we was just playing around one day, and I think a situation that came up. We was playing back, teasing each other. I said, shoot, man, with the juice that we got, man, I ought to be OJ'Tiago. You know what I'm saying? We laughed about it. I thought about like the juice and the plug. That's where it came from.
Now, where are you from?
I'm originally from West Columbia, South Carolina. West L to be exact, what they call it.
Now, what's your opinion of the state of rap music right now in South Carolina?
The state of it, it's a lot of talent in South Carolina. A lot needs to be out, need to be heard. And I think there's going to be a time that it's going to happen. If those in the right positions, be able to get in those positions where they can really, speak out to the world like it's supposed to, and versus, being selfish and thinking about yourself, then a lot of people will check out South Carolina a lot more,
Now, give me a tour of West Columbia, South Carolina, for someone that's never been there before. Let's start with the food. Favorite food spot in the city?
Zestos.
What kind of food is that?
Zestos, they serve fried chicken, they fried double burgers, double Zesto burgers. I'm talking about, that's your mom and pop spot right there,
What about the nightlife?
Nightlife. West Columbia don't really have no nightlife like that because it won't last. It will not last. So, you go more towards across the bridge over there to Columbia to do more of the partying and stuff like that. West Columbia there ain't gonna be no spots you're gonna be able to name, that to party at in West Columbia.
No strip club, no nightclub?
No. Well, strip club wise now is Platinum Plus West. Platinum Plus West though, and the strip club now.
But no real nightclub?
No, not the nightclub. They just opened up Club Throttle. I'm just waiting to see how long that's gonna take.
Why are clubs shut down?
You say it again?
Why do clubs go that quick?
That's the country. That's the countryside. West Columbia is a whole other. Whenever you mention West Columbia to a person, I ain't crossing over that bridge. You know what I mean? So it's AKA called West Hell. So and that's where it is. Hell over there on that side.
Now, we talked about the food and the nightlife, or maybe lack thereof. Anything else you recommend someone first time visiting West Columbia to go see or visit?
You said to go visit?
Yeah, anything else that stick out to you?
I said, yeah, definitely. If you want to eat good, go over there to Zesto. Though, any of y'all that probably remember Maurice's barbecue chicken, where they had the big, Confederate flag situation. You know what I'm saying? All the flags off now, but you can go over there and eat over there now. You know what I'm saying? Black people ain't boycotting that spot no more. So, cause they serve the best barbecue. So, but yeah.
Let's take it back a little bit. What type of student were you in school?
I was never the type to pay attention in school. At bad grades, I still got the report cards to prove them. I usually put them on Facebook. Let everybody know. You see all them F. You know what I'm saying? Doesn't pay attention, class clown, miss absences and stuff like that. Not bragging on it, but I'm just saying that's where my head was at back then. So.
Jobs you had growing up, if any?
Say it again?
Jobs you had growing up, if any?
You said how did what?
What jobs did you have growing up, if any?
With jobs? At 16, I started off at Burger King, and of course, use Burger King as a front, to do other things. But Burger King. Then I moved to Chuck E. Cheese. Shout out to Chuck E. Cheese. And then I went to the armed forces, to the Navy, due to a situation. So back then judges was a little lenient back then to give you a choice, you know what I'm saying, so.
Any crazy customer stories dealing with any of those jobs?
Not really. A lot of people know at every job that I ever been to that they know that I've done music, and always been good at music. From making jingles to, to just coming there making just popping up a song. Just like So they already knew I've been musically inclined, and a lot of jobs been supportive really.
What's the worst thing you put your parents through?
The worst thing, I say when I was in LA, and I constantly lied to them that I was fine, fine and dandy and stuff like that. But I was homeless for 6 months there at first. Accumulated a little couch here, a little couch that people threw away, stuff like that. While I'm sitting there pursuing my dreams and stuff like that. So then got in a situation where I met a boxer that was in the boxing league, stuff like that. But his boxing was his front, but he had a afterlife too, what I'm saying? And I learned that life, and it was hard to get out of. So mom sent me a bus ticket back on, left everything, car, everything. That's the big thing I put them through, because they didn't know how deep I was involved in a situation. So
what's your message to the youth?
Message to the youth, man, I say with how things going on right now is to stop following the cliche, because everybody just follow a hype. It just seemed like nowadays is who talks the best, and they don't have nothing to show for it. They don't really live that life. But they put other people that's out there trying to live that life through it. You know what I'm saying? They're the ones that's going through it. The people that's out front, that's a puppet to those that's behind them, telling them to do it. So it's the ones that's the cliche. Everybody else is following that, and it's a lot more out here for a young person nowadays, to make something of themselves, but they're just choosing the wrong stuff. And I don't understand it. But then again, I do understand it when you have so much freedom, it's no self-discipline.
Let's talk about music for a little bit. What do you hate the most about the music industry?
You said what I think the most?
What do you hate the most?
Hate the most?
Music?
Yeah. To be honest, I hate the most that the majors don't have control of the business like it used to. Because the majors, it used to be like you would get interviewed, for your music, and if they like your music, they'll sign you and stuff like that, and mold you, to come up with the right type of music, right type of image, stuff like that. But then when a lot of the Master P's and everybody start coming out with the independent stuff, man, it just got all outrageous. Now, and it's no structure in it now. Anybody just come with any old thing, just, and that's why, that goes back to the youth. That's why the youth like it is.
Top 3 things you need in the studio.
Top 3 things. I say a tablet. I'm old school, I do still deal with the tablet and the pen. Little nice little something to drink or to, get your mind right with.
Anything specific?
You say any place specific?
Anything specific you like to drink?
Well, I'm a gin man, so gin, vodka, white drink. You know what I'm saying? So. Shout out Happy Juice too, B-Lord. Just got on the Happy Juice thing.
So that's 2. One more.
The last thing, I'm a ladies' man, so I need some type of, feminism around. You know what I'm saying, to get build the ego up a little bit.
Craziest studio story, if you have one.
Craziest studio story. I wouldn't say studio story, but I'd say a radio station story. It was me and my partner that's dead now. We was at a radio station to do an interview, and soon as we got there, a shooting that happened with one of our other partners, and he got shot in the back. So my boy come busting through the door while we was just about to get on the air, and he said, Flay, well, I had an AKA name back then, but he said, Flay, they done shot wrong, man, they done shot wrong. And everybody stopped what they was doing and looked dead at us, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, I was embarrassed, you know what I'm saying? Like, dang. So, you know what I'm saying? So I look at I Will, you know, I tell her, I was like, man, we got to go. So I told Sunshine, like, hey, you know, she said, oh, no, honey business, you know what I'm saying? Then I already knew what time it was then. You come do some stuff like that, and they know that you really in that life, you know, it scares people. And that's what I try to separate, you know what I'm saying? I try to, you know, maintain a good, humble, you know, nature and stuff like that, you know? People don't, that live life, you know, that love life, don't want to be around that stuff. So that's one of the craziest ones. So,
what's the realest song you ever wrote so far in your whole collection?
Well, I consider all of them like that, but
what's the realest?
That I would say the one I say turn up on the ass. You know what I'm saying? It's talking about, you know, people that, you know, the many people that try to go against you, you know, people that try to down you and stuff like that. You still turn up on them, you know. So,
what are your keys to success?
Keys to success is knowledge. Definitely that knowledge and who you know. You know, that's the main one. You gotta in any type of field or any type of business or any type of thing that you do, you need to know the ins and outs of things before you get into it. You know, whatever it is, from the street level to corporate, you need to know the blueprint, the ins and outs. You know, because that's what take you further. That'll make you or break you. You know, so, and then who you know is very, very strong out you.
So what you got going on right now?
Right now, got the new single, I'm the Plug, right now that's out doing this thing. I appreciate a lot of the support that's coming from Atlanta and surrounding areas. Also got 2 mixtapes that's on the way. One is called 2 Peas in the Pot with the Plug and DJ Pay Me, which is the President, that's coming out real soon. Also there's another project called Plug Life, that's with the music that I'm coming out with now called Plug Music. That's with DJ Money Mook. These are South Carolina DJs that has a, you know, big following, you know, so I started, you know, thought about taking it back to the roots, you know, at home and stuff like that. So a lot more projects in the way, features. Matter of fact, video shoot was today with Big Sam, shout out to Big Sam, Eastside Boyz, you know, with a chorus that I've done. Be on the lookout for that. How We Rock, you know, so with Big Sam featuring Pippi Red and of course myself. So it's you know, a lot of things in the making, movies, you know, stuff like that. So.